Fox Sports.
We are Black Hawk. We are Wisconsin.
It's a beautiful spring evening in Kansas City, Missouri, as the Milwaukee Brewers begin a 9-game, 3-city road trip, a quick 2-game interleague series here at Kauffman Stadium against the Kansas City Royals. Good evening. Alongside Bill Schroeder, I'm Matt LePay. Sophia Minert is our reporter tonight. We'll get to baseball. We'll enjoy baseball here tonight. But, Rock, these last couple of days have been, to say the least, very difficult for all of us at Fox Sports Wisconsin, the Brewers all across baseball and beyond, at the passing Sunday night of Davey Nelson. You've known him for a long, long time, and I think it's safe to say that the memories will have us smiling forever.
And that's the thing you want to remember about Davey, and that's the way he would want it. You know, Davey Nelson was a friend to everybody. I mean, if you went up to Davey, he would make you feel like you're the most important person in the world. And when you left that conversation, you'd almost convince yourself you were. But, you know, it's not the same, you know, without Davey. You know, this season he hasn't been out on the ballpark. The end of last year, just not the same without the coach, we like to call him. And we had some really good times with Davey. We had some good laughs with him, and certainly that's the way he would want us to remember him.
Well, as we get ready for baseball tonight, as we mentioned, he had so many close friends. Rock is one of them. Craig Cashon is another. They worked together for so long on Brewers Live. And we'll step aside and let Craig now take us through the very special life of a very special man.
Davey Nelson had a life built around baseball. He was raised in the Watts neighborhood of southern Los Angeles, one of 4 boys who took to the diamonds early.
My dad loved baseball, and he started me out when I was like 5 years old and throwing a baseball and catching it.
Davey was a speedy infielder who signed with the Cleveland Indians in 1964. 4 years later, he made his major league debut.
One of my most proud moments I've ever had was my rookie year in Cleveland, and it was opening day. Had put my parents right up there in the front row by our dugout. When they introduced me and I go running out on the line and I turn around, and of course my mom's got a smile on her face, but my dad, man, he had this big old smile. His arms are like this, his chest poked out, just saying, "That's my boy."
Nelson's 10-year major league career had stops in Cleveland, Washington, Texas, and Kansas City. Among many highlights was his 1972 season when he stole 51 bases. He was an all-star a year later. Nelson also accomplished the rare feat of becoming one of only 12 major league players to steal second base, third base, and home in the same inning in the modern era. Davey did it with the Rangers in 1974. He retired after the 1977 season, but never left the game. For the next 25 years, he served various roles in baseball before joining the Milwaukee Brewers organization in 2001 as a roving minor league instructor, and in 2003, he was named as the Major League Club's first base coach. Davey was the first base coach for 4 years before becoming the director of alumni relations. And for the last 12 years, he's also been an analyst on Fox Sports Wisconsin.
Alongside Davey Nelson, we got him out of the studio, put him here at Miller Park for the first time. Welcome back, my friend.
Davey used his notoriety to champion many other causes that were dear to his heart. Davey was always one of the most popular players in the game. He used that in his celebrity golf tournament to raise money for Open Arms Home for Children, a nonprofit organization that provides homes to orphan children affected by the AIDS pandemic in South Africa. Davey is one of the founding fathers of the orphanage and will soon have a new building named in his honor. He was also involved in kids' baseball clinics and enjoyed teaching the game he loved to the next generations. His insight, knowledge, and passion were always on display on our Brewers Live pre- and post-game shows.
He couldn't have walked that throw down any better.
His positive outlook, infectious trademark laugh, and love for having fun made for many memorable moments over the years.
Who's driving?
I'm driving.
I thought I was driving.
No, I want to drive.
Though Davey's life was built around baseball, his legacy extends far beyond that. The friends he made, the impact he had, are the testament to a man who is kind and caring. We will miss Davey's whimsical ways, his laughter, and knowledge. But most of all, We'll miss just having him around the ballpark. David Earl Nelson was 73.
Good evening, everyone. Sophia Minard here at Kauffman Stadium. And on Sunday evening, we lost a very treasured member of the Brewers family, our Fox Sports Wisconsin family, and our partner, Davey Nelson, who passed away Sunday evening at the age of 73. And we were honored to share him with you, the viewers, and especially for the people here that interacted with him on a daily basis. He was such a treasured member of this baseball family. So manager Craig Counsell and Ryan Braun had the opportunity to visit with Davey Nelson over the weekend before he passed, and they shared their lasting memories and the legacy that Davey Nelson leaves behind.
Outpouring of how people have spoken about him and the consistency of what they've said really says it all. He was a person who, you know, really made your day better when you came across him, and he made you feel good about yourself. He made you feel good about your day, about who you were. You know, if we're measured by something, that's really what we should be measured by. And Davey had a unique ability to do that in his relationships with people.
I'll just remember him as an incredibly generous, special human being. I think he had a unique ability to make everybody's day better. Every time you came in contact with him, he was smiling, he was happy, he was optimistic, he was asking you how you were doing, how your family was doing. Just a ray of sunshine every day. Just really a special man. Always did everything he could to contribute to the community in Milwaukee, as well as all over the place. He was always, raising money for, I think he had a school in Africa somewhere, and he just was really a special human being. It was a lot of fun to be around every day.
Davey Nelson's life will be measured by the love and the kindness that he showed to everyone around him. We will miss him terribly, but we are so grateful for his love, his smiles, his endless stories. Davey Nelson passed away Sunday at the age of 73.
Fox Sports Wisconsin is brought to you by Hupy and Abraham. Voted best, rated best. Hupy and Abraham. Tell them you mean business. By Miller Lite. Great taste and only 96 calories. And by Menards. Save big money at Menards on all your home improvement needs. Very comfortable evening here in Kansas City, Kauffman Stadium. Temperature in the low 70s. Just gorgeous here today. Alongside Bill Schroeder, our reporter Sophia Minert. I'm Matt LePay. Our producer is Brent Reeland. Our director is Renardo Lowe. As the Brew Crew gets set to start a 3-city, 9-game road trip. And Craig Counsell brings his team to town with a 6-game winning streak. They dropped the opener of their just completed homestand a week ago last night, and they ripped off the final 6, including a 4-game sweep of the Miami Marlins over the weekend. So a hot team now coming in to Kansas City. Here's the Brewers batting order presented by Potawatomi Hotel and Casino. The former Royal coming back to town, Lorenzo Cain. He's at the top, followed by Christian Yelich and Ryan Braun. Travis Shaw hits cleanup. Domingo Santana fifth. Eric Thames in the lineup tonight. Manny Pena back off the disabled list. He's behind the plate. Jonathan Villar is hitting 8th, and Eric Sogard hits 9th. Here tonight with the American League ballpark. It gives Braun the chance to DH, and that's the lineup that faces Ian Kennedy.
Yeah, Ian Kennedy having a pretty good start to his season. Fifth start here tonight. A .235 earned run average. He took a loss his last time out against the Blue Jays. That was in Toronto. 5 innings, 6 runs, 4 of them earned. He gave up a couple of home runs. He first appeared in the major leagues with the Yankees back in '07. Well, let's check out the Royals as they line up defensively. Starting to get a little bit more healthy are the Royals. You got Gordon, Jay, and Soler in the outfield. Moustakas, Escobar, the former Brewer. Escobar at shortstop. Merrifield Duda at second and first. And Salvador Perez. He's back off the disabled list. His first game back from the disabled list.
These two organizations tightly connected, and it begins at the top of the batting order for the Brewers tonight, as Lorenzo Cain comes back to Kansas City.
They love him.
MVP of the 2014 American League Championship Series, and of course a key ingredient to the 2015 World Series champion Royals, a team that knocked out the New York Mets in 5 games. And he settles into Kauffman Stadium at the top of the Milwaukee Brewers batting order, and we are ready to roll as Kane fouls back the first pitch, and we are underway.
I think he enjoyed that.
I think he did.
You know, I mean, that's a nice tribute the fans here in Kansas City giving him. He deserved it.
A little news conference about an hour and a half, 2 hours ago. Very popular member of this organization, and with very good reason, and a very popular member again of the Milwaukee Brewers organization.
Right. Yeah.
Off to a very good start is Lorenzo Cain with the Brew Crew, an on-base percentage of .400, finding the top of the batting order very much to his liking. Kennedy ahead in the count, 2 strikes and nothing. Cain, Yelich, and Braun, with Braun the DH here tonight. First of 2 in Kansas City, and then it'll be a 4-game set with the Cubs at Wrigley Field. And from there, it's on to Cincinnati for a 3-game series against the Reds.
That's one way to get all 4 of your outfielders in the game. You have the designated hitter here in the American League. Making those decisions for great counts a lot easier.
As they say, things work themselves out, and that's certainly the case here in Kansas City for this interleague series between the Brewers and the Royals. And there's a little tapper over to Lucas Duda for out number 1. It's sometimes how life works is very interesting with the Brewers here in Kansas City. The first game that Milwaukee has played after the passing of Davey Nelson. Craig Counsell, you heard his comments on Brewers Live. The first hitter in the history of this ballpark, which was then known as Royal Stadium, on April 10th, 1973, was Davey Nelson.
Yeah, and that's something.
As a member of the Texas Rangers, and that was an all-star year for Davey. And now here are the Milwaukee Brewers. Heavy hearts, to be sure. It was kind of quiet as the guys were getting on the plane yesterday, and some guys known Davey for many years, including Ryan Braun, members of the coaching staff, but they'll press on because Davey, as you would know, Rock, better than I, doesn't want a whole lot of mourning.
No.
It's about the smiles, the good memories of a life well lived.
That's the way everybody's going to remember Davey. I mean, that's the only way he carried himself. I mean, you heard from a number of different people today. Great work from the Fox Sports Wisconsin crew. Craig Kashan on that video tribute. That was well done, and certainly deserved it for Davey Nelson. He's going to be missed. We miss him already.
Yeah, we really do. We really do. If you knew him well or barely knew him, he made you feel like an old friend. 2 balls, 1 strike to Christian Yelich. He too off to an excellent start. On base percentage of .429. Brewers getting the job done. A couple of blowout wins against the Marlins, but some close shaves along the way as well. Their last win on Sunday over Miami, the Brewers got the W despite getting all of 4 hits. They made them count. Yelich had 1 big one, a 2-run homer. And he sends a fly ball into left center field. Drifting back is John Jay for out number 2.
The Brewers pitching has been exceptional. The bullpen in the early going has been very consistent. All of a sudden now the starting rotation is putting together some good starts. A couple of really good runs through the rotation. Guys are starting to eat up innings, keep the opposition off the board. Defense is starting to tighten up.
Yeah, Junior Guerra with 3 good starts now for the Brewers. Billy Chassin was good in his last outing. He'll actually be on the mound tomorrow night for Milwaukee. Here's Ryan Braun. First pitch swing and a bouncer over to Mike Moustakas. Kennedy has a 1-2-3 inning to begin his Tuesday night here in Kansas City. Zach Davies will take the mound in the bottom of the first. Kansas City. Now the Royals will get their first cuts. Ned Yost in his 8th full season, 9th year overall as the Royals manager. Team has hovered around 500 each of the last 2 years after being the World Series champs in 2015. Off to a 5-15 start here this year. Getting a little bit healthier, though. We'll get you that lineup momentarily as John Jay will lead things off. I don't know about you, Rock, but I think a lot of us cringed with the thought of dealing with John Jay for a couple of nights.
Yeah, we saw him in spring training when they came over to Maryvale. John Jay's always been a Brewer killer. He's always had good games against Milwaukee, come up with big hits.
Here's the batting order presented by Potawatomi. May, Merrifield, and Moustakas. Perez, Duda, and Soler in the middle, and it'll be Alex Gordon, Chesler, Cuthberts, and Alcides Escobar rounding out the batting order for Kansas City. Jay, a 300 hitter in his career against the Brewers. Now the 33-year-old getting back in center field with the return of Alex Gordon, and Jay rolls one. Nice stop, VR, who takes one away from John Jay. Nice play by Jonathan VR.
Well done. Yeah. Did a nice job going backpedaling. He kind of angled back and was able to give himself a little bit more time to get that slow roller from John Jay. And everybody was already saying, here we go again with John Jay. Kind of rolls one into right field, but VR, but a nice play, gets up with a very good throw to first base. Gets it by half a step. There's a good start.
Here's Whit Merrifield. Second baseman, they can move him around if needed, and they've done so with him so far this season. Last year, after grinding it in the minors for some 7 years, Merrifield, a little breakout last year in the big leagues at 288. Homered 19 times, drove in 78. The wait was worth it to get to the big club.
Yeah. On paper, when you look at this lineup today that Ned Yost was able to put out there, not a bad lineup. I mean, you got some guys who can swing the bats. You've had a couple of key components on the disabled list. Yeah, but the big issue for the Royals so far this year has been their bullpen. They have had a ton of problems out there in the bullpen.
Yeah, they've had a couple of veterans giving up a lot of runs as Merrifield fouls one down the line.
Well, Zach Davies very good his last time out. He picked up his first win of the season against Cincinnati back at Miller Park. 6 1/3, 3 hits, no runs for Zach. First time ever facing the Kansas City Royals here tonight.
Road start number 2 this season for Davies. Those splits have been very favorable for Zach away from Miller Park, although his one road start this year 11 days ago against the Mets at Citi Field, he had to grind through to get to 4 1/3 innings, needed 103 pitches. Game the Brewers lost 6-5. There's another chance for VR, and we have 2 up, 2 down on the bottom of the first.
Well, let's check out the rest of the Brewers as they line up defensively. You got Yelich, Kane, Santana in the outfield. Ryan Braun the DH. So all 4 of the outfielders in the game tonight. You got Sogard at short. Still no Orlando Arcia. And Craig Counsell not ready to put him in at shortstop. Still nursing that ankle issue. VR Thames and Matty Pena off the disabled list. Good to have him back behind home plate.
Yes, sir. Back in there. Good work by Jet Bandy and Jacob Nottingham in the absence of Pena. Nottingham will be optioned back to AAA Colorado Springs, or has been. Moustakas trying to bunt away from the shift. Look at this throw by Davies and the pick by Eric Thames. Oh, a couple of sparkling defensive plays by the Brew Crew here in inning number 1. Zach Davies fielding his position very, very well, bouncing off the mound as Moustakas tried to push one away from the shift. Scoreless after 1 in Kansas City. Good work by Zach Davies, pouncing off the mound to get Mike Moustakas, who tried to bunt his way on. Both Ian Kennedy and Davies go through the first 1, 2, 3. As Travis Shaw leads off here for the Brewers.
And that was a heck of a pick by Thames over at first base. That in between hop. Nice athletic play by Davies just to be able to get there and get a throw off.
Kennedy needed just 11 pitches to get through the first inning as he misses with a curveball to Shaw to even the count. Travis coming in with 4 homers. He has driven in 10. Facing the veteran Ian Kennedy. As Shaw sends this one into shallow left field, Escobar will take command, and there's the first out of the inning. Now here comes Domingo Santana. Trying to shake a slump that he is in right now. Mentioned he started rather slowly last year. He showed some power in the first month of the season. Showed it all year, as a matter of fact, with the 30 bombs. He's hitless in his last 17 at bats.
It just seems like he's caught in between. I mean, behind the fastball, a little bit ahead of the breaking pitch, the off-speed stuff, and that's something you just have to swing your way out of.
And there's a good start at doing just that as he works away from the shift, and a base hit for Santana, and that's the first hit of the night.
And there was a lot of money for him out there in the right field last year, not just singles, but driving the baseball out of the ballpark to right field. When he starts to do that, that's when the hits are going to start coming.
Craig Counsell is asked about a slump of any player or even a team. He'll tell you it's the season. It happens. And all right, let's see if that gets something started now for Santana. You know how good he can be when he is in a groove at the plate. Here's Eric Thames, who continues to be in a home run groove in the month of April. 7 of them so far, and 18 over the last 2 years. No one has more in baseball in the first month of the season last year and this year than this man, Eric Thames.
They still have a week left in April, so it's more damage to be done for Eric.
One strike pitch. Well, one thing Kennedy has been in the last few years, I mean, he'll work a lot of innings, but he is vulnerable to giving up the home run. He gave up 34 of them last year, 33 the year before, and 31 in 2015.
Yeah, a lot of guys that throw a lot of strikes, particularly early count strikes, like he's been doing here tonight. First pitch strikes to 5 of the first 6.
Thames into center field, bloops that one through, a base hit. Santana digging for third. The throw from Jay. Now Moustakas to second. Thames is cut down. Moustakas to Merrifield. And that's the second out of the inning.
Well, Kansas City got away with a very poor throw from John Jay, missing the cutoff man, and unfortunately Thames not able to get into second base. Well, got it down on the trademark just a little bit. Now Domingo Santana is going to test the arm. You can run on John Jay. Does not have a very good throwing arm, but well, they got away with it. The Royals. They're able to get Thames at second.
So it'll be 8-5-4 to get Thames. Brewers with a runner in scoring position for the first time, and here's Manny Pena, fresh off the 10-day disabled list because of the calf issue that he dealt with. Testing it quite a bit here these last few days, and is good to go here tonight and back behind the plate for Milwaukee. Brewers come in 14-9 in the first 3-city road trip of 2018.
Yeah, winners of 6 in a row. The Kansas City Royals have won 2 of their last 3 after dropping 9 straight. And kind of getting out of the doldrums just a little bit. Craig Counsell very pleased with all aspects of his team's play right now.
2-0 pitch to Pena. Yeah, the bullpen for the Brewers continues to be exceptional. Josh Hader, another 6-out save yesterday. He has 3 of them already. Jeremy Jeffress pitching out of a huge jam in the 6th inning on Sunday.
Yeah, not a lot of talk about JJ, but he's been terrific.
The starter's closer, as they refer to him, and that was exactly what he did on Sunday. Junior Guerra got into trouble in the 6th. The Marlins' first 3 reached, and then Jeffress gets a strikeout, a pop-up, and a strikeout. Very big moment in that game. 3-1 to Pena. And he'll lift one into shallow right field. That's Jorge Soler. He'll put it away, and the Brewers have a threat that is denied here in the 2nd inning. We are through an inning and 1/2. Brewers and Royals, no score.
Missouri, and let's check out our Pizza Ranch for the win. What's it going to be tonight? The curveball or the changeup? Very good last time out against Cincinnati. Used a lot of curveballs. We'll see if the changeup's going to be his pitch. We talked about the Royals' pen. They have had all kinds of problems. So get to Kennedy, get him out of there, get to that bullpen, and keep the defense going good. 27 outs, limit that, and good things will happen.
Yeah, for a Brewers defense that has been very choppy at times, they have been able to tighten things up here in recent games. Salvador Perez making his first appearance of this season for the Royals, back behind the plate. He was injured right at the end of spring training. Of all things, he was carrying some luggage and had a misstep on a set of stairs, so he suffered a knee injury. It was thought at first as though he may be out for a very extended period of time, but he's able to get himself back in the lineup on this April 24th. So maybe from the outside looking in, back in action a little bit ahead of schedule.
And they need him in there. I mean, middle of the order guy, catcher. Maybe Perez being back there might help that bullpen a little bit. Considered to be one of the best game callers in the big leagues.
World Series MVP in 2015. Put up big numbers against the Mets in that 5-game series. Swing and a miss to even the count.
Yeah, good two-seamer right there. Zach Davies down and in.
Road start number 32 in the career of Zach Davies. It's a 16-6 record away from Miller Park. 2-2 pitch. There's a chance for Travis Shaw over at third, and that is out number 1.
Always a good sign when you have Davies getting ground balls. The first 4 outs on the ground. Well, the two-seamer has been a good one for him so far. He had Perez swing and a miss on the one before this one. Look at the movement on it. Down and in again, 90 miles an hour, and it gets his ground ball to third base.
One away in the bottom of the second inning for Lucas Duda, one of the new additions to this Royals ball club. That curveball has Duda out in front. Duda, a longtime New York Met, was traded to the Tampa Bay Rays in the middle of last season. Signed a free agent deal with the Royals back in February.
It provides some power in this lineup.
And between the Mets and the Rays last year, Duda homered 30 times. And he will send one into left field, a base hit. And there's the first hit of the night for Kansas City.
Kind of shoots one into left field. Davies able to get in on his hands. Duda being asked to replace Eric Hosmer. That's no small task. Hosmer now with the San Diego Padres. And shoots one into left center.
One out, one on for the Royals in the second inning. Here is Jorge Soler. Former Chicago Cub, member of their World Series champions of 2 years ago. Was traded for Wade Davis after that championship season. Spent most of last year in AAA. Trying to prove he can hit consistently at the big league level, and as you can see, he's off to a pretty solid start.
He's got natural power, big time power. Hasn't shown it yet this year. Might have said that a little too soon.
You're gonna test it, huh?
Yeah, I should know better.
The thing you notice about Soler is the frame. He is a solidly built guy, 26 years old, 35 games with the Royals last year. Showed some of that power in AAA, homered 24 times. Royals have been a team that has not been a big home run hitting team. Mike Moustakas would be a notable exception, but even the year they won it all in 2015, they ranked 14th in the American League in home runs. They did it in other ways.
Yeah, they didn't strike out. They advanced base runners. They had pretty decent team speed.
Here comes the 1-2 pitch. Back-to-back World Series appearances, the thrilling 7-game series with the San Francisco Giants in 2014. The tying run was stranded 90 feet away. Madison Bumgarner a little too much. 2-2 pitch. Curve, and that's a strikeout for Zach Davies, his first of the night, and there are 2 men out.
And well, so far it has been the curveball for Davies. Hey, it's a 3-game divisional showdown between the Brewers and Pirates as the NL Central foes collide in a weekend set at Miller Park, Friday, May 4th through Sunday the 6th. To view the full series schedule and to reserve your seats, visit brewers.com/tickets. The Buccos.
The Buccos, yeah, they were off to a really good start, but they've dropped 4 in a row now. Brewers have slipped ahead of them in the National League Central Division. Here's Alex Gordon, his first game back after being on the DL with a hip issue. It appeared in the first 7 games. He's still trying to find the offense. It's been 2 years plus now. He has really struggled at the plate.
Well, it's a grind. I mean, once the league kind of has a book on you, you're going to have to make some adjustments. You can see 2015, pretty good season. He's had a tough time since. On base percentage very low.
A terrific glove in the outfield, a 5-time Gold Glove winner, including last year. Signed that big deal, big 4-year deal with the Royals after their championship run. 34 years old now, part of that draft class in 2005. Second overall pick, in fact, behind Justin Upton. Davies ready with a 2-1 pitch, and that curve again going to work, and that evens the count.
Boy, he found that. I mean, in a very quick fashion in his last start against the Cincinnati Reds at Miller Park. Look at this curveball. Right on the outside corner. He can throw it in to lefties, throw it away to left-handers, and he can cover both sides of the plate pretty well by design. It's not an easy thing to do, is to be able to locate a curveball like that on both sides of the plate.
Full count now to Gordon. Lucas Duda is the runner at first with 2 men out. Here comes the 3-2. And that is strike 3 called. He burned the inside corner, and that'll do it for the Royals in the second inning. Couple of strikeouts here for Zach Davies in this inning as he catches Gordon looking. No score after 2. Your mobile device with Fox Sports Go, presented by T-Mobile. Download the app, take Fox Sports Wisconsin and Brewers baseball wherever you go. Move to the third inning. Jonathan Villar will lead things off. Villar, Sogard, and Lorenzo Cain here for Milwaukee. Villar already with an impressive defensive play, taking a hit away from John Jay in the bottom of the first inning.
Good change up from Kennedy. He's a 4-pitch mix out there, very similar to the stuff that you see from Zach Davies. Of course, Kennedy's going to throw a little bit harder. He likes to mix it up. Very unpredictable.
Drops a curve in there now, and it's a ball, 2 strikes to Villar. Kennedy had a terrific season with the Arizona Diamondbacks in 2011, went 21-4 that year with a 288 earned run average. The Brewers of that season saw Kennedy a couple of times in that thrilling divisional round series,
including the clincher for the Brewers. He started that game.
Yes, he did.
Ian Kennedy pitched well.
One of the electrifying moments in the history of this franchise. Miller Park was up for grabs. Niger Morgan
driving in Carlos Gomez. See Gogo's home run?
How about that? See the reaction?
Oh my.
Gomi being Gomi, huh? Man. Here's VR, a little bloop. That's going to drop a base hit. Jonathan VR begins the third inning with a single to right.
They're just trying to put the ball in play with 2 strikes. He does it again and drops one into right field. Yeah, so the Brewers with good speed at first base.
We saw the entire Gomez package in that game. He obviously enjoyed the walk-off homer, the first of his career, but we saw him break a bat over his leg. That's happened a time or two.
He's an emotional guy.
Yes, he is.
Right.
You don't have to wonder how he's feeling. Here's Eric Sogard back in there at shortstop tonight. Talked about a guy who could stand a hit into some better luck. 0 for 2 with a walk in his last outing Sunday against the Marlins.
I remember last year when Sogard was going well. I mean, his hits to left field would be line drives. He's getting under him a little bit, maybe dropping his shoulder. And as I play hitting coach here,
it's all right.
Well, yeah, you know what I mean. I mean, a lot of the balls that he's hitting into the opposite field are up in the air. Wasn't the case a lot of times last year. Those are line drives last year. He'll get it.
He was a good on-base guy last year. Spent a good chunk of it at the top of the order, hitting 9th here tonight. He could work you for walks. Former Oakland A, now second year with the Brewers. 94 games with the big club last year. VR is running, and there's a ground ball over to Whitten Merrifield for out number 1 as VR moves to second. So we go back to the top of the order. And Lorenzo Cain. Let's get to the timeline. The trade from the Brewers to the Royals back in December of 2010, part of the Zach Greinke deal. All-star in 2015, a world champion with the Royals. And then the big news in Milwaukee on January 26th, signing that 5-year contract. And this was at bat number 1. They already hugged it out in the press conference. We get to do it here before the game begins tonight.
Yeah, he enjoyed that ovation. Why not? He should have.
Yeah, good for him. Very popular player in the clubhouse and obviously in the community here in Kansas City, and doing it again very quickly with the fan base in Milwaukee. Cain grounded to first. Big rip right there for strike 1.
I mean, you can honestly say that he's one of the leaders on this ball club as far as players go. He leads by example. Young players watch the way he goes about his business. He's always prepared. Always runs out grounders. And little things like that.
One of the things he talked about when he came over, just the experience of playing on the big stage, being a veteran. Someone who could pass it along to the younger guys all across the clubhouse, and he has been doing just that.
Yep, learned from one of the best, Mike Cameron, when they were together here with the Brewers.
2 strikes and nothing to Cain. Singleton walked on Sunday against the Marlins. Been really good at working walks at the top of the order. You mentioned an on-base machine he has been. Good to see the Brewers have that Cain-Yelich combo now for the last several games. It went a while without having that luxury with Yelich on the disabled list. Came off last week.
And Ryan Braun had to miss some games, so they were shorthanded for a little while. Now they're all back in the lineup, 1 through 4, very consistent in that batting order. I think that's what Ned Yost is hoping for his offense too. You get the big boys back in the lineup, get some consistency.
Yeah, they have Salvador Perez and Alex Gordon back in there tonight. First game period this season for Perez. Big man behind the plate.
Yeah, he is. Throws well, blocks pitches, calls a great game, and he can hit.
And he is wildly popular here in Kansas City. 2-2 to Kane. Good take as he works it to a full count. Brewers had a threat in the second inning, but Domingo Santana was left stranded at third. Payoff pitch coming to Kane, and another walk drawn by Lorenzo Cain. So the Brewers have runners at first and second with one out.
Well, when he's taking that pitch, you know he's seeing it well. In spring training, he told us that that slider off the plate with 2 strikes was his kryptonite. Well, not so far this year.
He's been good at laying off of it.
Yeah, pitch that's out of the strike zone.
There's Christian Yelich now. There's VR at second, Kane at first. Yelich has been good with runners in scoring position, 5 for 13 in this first month of the season. That home run he hit Sunday got out of here in a flash. It was a bolt over the wall in center field.
Yeah, left-hander on the mound. He just pulled the hands in and hit a rocket into dead center.
Kennedy with a 1-strike pitch. There's another guy who runs out everything. You mentioned this in spring training, how tightly he runs, he works the corners, cuts the corners, I should say, when he's out there running the bases. Just no wasted space with Yelich out there.
Yeah, cuts those bags, he leans in, and no wasted distance.
There's a ground ball to Lucas Duda, and no play anywhere but first. The runners move up, and there are 2 men out. Time now for the Lowe's whole team together. Brewers coming to town here with a 6-game winning streak, and been doing it in a variety of ways, including getting on base a lot. 5 of them with an on-base percentage of better than .450. You see that Travis Shaw at .654. Drawing walks, as is Kane. Aguilar is just squaring up everything right now.
Yeah, line drive after line drive.
Here's Ryan Braun. Showing some signs in that homestand that he's ready to get things cranked up. He was hitless yesterday, but is slowly but surely getting that average up. You see the 5 home runs. Braun hitting a couple of nice looking numbers on that homestand, getting into the 1,000 club with RBIs. Did so with a 3-run homer. And now in the 700 club with extra base hits in his career.
He made the most of his hits, hasn't he, with the RBIs. 15 hits, 14 RBIs. Getting them when they matter.
Yeah, a couple of game-winning home runs already this season for Milwaukee. In San Diego, first series of the year, and the walk-off against the St. Louis Cardinals. Ball 2 strikes to Braun. The DH tonight.
Here's what the Brewers need to do. They need to get that pitch count up for Kennedy to get into that bullpen. This is pitch 23 in this inning.
It was an efficient start for Kennedy. Braun trying to extend the inning, and it goes off of Kennedy, and there will be no play. A run will score as VR is in. As Braun with a hot shot right back to the mound. Brewers take the lead here in the 3rd.
Yeah, tough luck for Ryan Braun. If that ball goes through, it's 2 runs. Good piece of 2-strike hitting for Ryan Braun. Yeah, pitch away, hit him in the foot. And Perez just not able to get down and grab it. I don't think it would have mattered. But the Brewers take the lead. Could have been 2-0 had it not hit Kennedy.
Taking a look at Ian Kennedy right now. This is the last thing Ned Yost needs. There's an injury to his starting pitcher here tonight. And Rock mentioned the bullpen issues. The strength is the closer. Kelvin Herrera has been terrific. The problem for the Royals has been getting him in position to close. Just hasn't happened very often.
And the starting rotation has been pretty good. I mean, especially Ian Kennedy.
Yeah, Kennedy has been a victim of lack of run support. His ERA is 2.35. Allow him to test that foot. That was a shot off the bat of Ryan Braun.
Always kind of dangerous when you have a leg or foot injury for a pitcher, a tendency to overcompensate with the arm, and then you have arm issues. It's not going to feel any better as the day goes on. It's about as good as it's going to feel.
He nods his head and says, let's go. And tomorrow will be a challenge. Try to get through tonight.
And it hits him on that that right foot. Goes right up into the air, and Ryan Braun credited with a base hit and an RBI.
Now Travis Shaw with Kane the runner at third, Braun at first. Shaw popped up to Alcides Escobar in the second inning. Well, the Brewers get the first run of the night. Kennedy misses with a curveball.
I'm not sure if that line drive hit the ground before it hit the foot. If it didn't, it hit the foot directly and went right up into the air. And somebody caught it, would have been an out.
Right. The 1-0. Kennedy now with pitch number 26 coming up in this third inning. Good cut by Shaw. Brewers doing what they want to do here, especially in this frame. They're running up that pitch count. Kennedy has hit triple digits with his pitch count in each of his first 4 outings. Last outing a rough one, just 5 innings against Toronto. He gave up 8 hits and 6 runs, only 4 of which were earned.
Hey, but his starts before that, very good.
Yeah, 6 innings in each of his first 3 starts. Gave up a run in 2 of them and none in the other. 2-2 pitch. And there's a shot deep into right field, and Travis Shaw has another one. It's gone. A 3-run homer for Travis Shaw. It gives the Brewers a 4-0 lead.
Well, it looked like the first time Kennedy tried to come inside on him and made a mistake, pitch up. And that was no cheapie out there to right field. Goodness. Hit that one a ton. Supposed to be away, ends up down the middle, and the mistake ends up out of the ballpark. Nice short stroke. Knocks it out of here. That was another 2-strike hit for the Brewers.
Powerball count, home run number 6 now for Travis Shaw. Here's Domingo Santana.
All the hits in this inning coming with 2 strikes.
Like the spring training, and that was an emphasis. Getting the ball in play. That was smoked. And there's Santana as he again goes opposite field. And that's his second hit. Both steered the other way here for Santana.
A good sign for anybody, particularly for Domingo, when he's able to do that, wait back. A lot of times you get off to a slow start, you really get a little anxious up there at the plate. Even guys that have had success in this league get that bad head out, and that's the last thing you want. Hitting coaches will tell you when you're in a tough spot, get jammed a couple of times. It's amazing how many times you don't when you try to.
Good point.
Right?
Right.
Yeah, stay back, everything's soft, head's not moving, and Domingo able to hit 2 balls very hard into right field tonight.
It's a very, very good sign. Here's Eric Thames. Single to center in the second inning. I mentioned Ian Kennedy vulnerable to giving up the big fly, and he has given one up here in this third inning.
Got 3 straight hits with 2 outs.
A ball, a strike to Thames. Wondering how that foot is feeling right now for Kennedy, trying to get through a very long top half of the third inning. Here comes the 2-1. Thames will lift a high fly ball into shallow left. That's Alex Gordon coming on for out number 3, while Travis Shaw goes deep once again for the Milwaukee Brewers, as he gets into an offering from Ian Kennedy, a 3-run shot to give the Brewers a 4-0 lead in the third. We do want to continue to honor Davey Nelson here tonight as we enjoy Brewers baseball, as Davey enjoyed so much in his special life. He passed away Sunday night after a battle with cancer. We remember him always. We'll remember him throughout the course of this broadcast here tonight. I would guess he is smiling right now at the start of the Milwaukee Brewers, now off to a 4-0 lead. Zach Davies on the mound here in the third inning. Chesler Cuthbert will lead things off here for Kansas City, and a curveball is slapped to Jonathan Villar. 1 up, 1 down. Let's get more on the very special life of the special man, Davey Nelson, as we check in with Sophia Minnaert.
Well, certainly all the thoughts of the Brewers players and coaches and the front office, just a tremendous loss for the organization overall. And we spoke with manager Craig Counsell about it, and both he and Bob Uecker were able to visit Davey on Saturday before the game, and Counsell said it's an interaction that he said really left an impact on him, and he said he's gonna think about that interaction for a long time, just because of the laughter, the storytelling, the memories that they were all able to share together as their group. And so he said, really, when you remember Davey Nelson, he said He made your day better. He said you learned about baseball. He said he taught me about managing. He taught me about the game. And he said you left the interaction feeling like you were on cloud nine. And so considering the circumstances, he said it was just a remarkable thing to walk away from that interaction. And I think that's how we all felt when we interacted with Davey on a daily basis.
Yeah, you came away feeling better. Had a smile, right? I mean,
Yeah, he was a good friend to everybody. He really was. I mean, that's how you want to be remembered. I mean, people have a smile on their face when they think of you.
Fly ball off the bat of Escobar into the mitts of Domingo Santana for the second out.
Yeah, I had a chance to go visit Davey on Friday, and you know, just wanted to get a sense for where he was and how he was feeling. He didn't want to talk about his personal situation. He wanted to talk about the team. He wanted to talk about, you know, how everybody was doing at the ballpark, and yeah, he's very proud by the way the Brewers, you know, were playing. You know, in that homestand, that gave him a lot of pleasure.
I was always amazed when I started filling in for BA, you know, a few years ago. When I got to know Davey a little bit, I was always amazed. I come to the ballpark, and no matter who the opponent was, there were always several who knew Davey would come up and say hi to him. It was just, he knew everybody in the game. It's remarkable. John Jay at the plate.
Yeah, he knew what his situation was. He knew that his time was limited, and still had a smile on his face, worried about everybody else. It's hard to come up with words, you know, when you're on your way out of the room, when you visit somebody that's having a difficult time.
Yeah. There's John Jay with a base hit into center field. He's the 2-out runner for Kansas City here in the third.
And the only thing I could really come up with when I was leaving is say, Davey, you know everybody loves you, don't you? And I think that really touched him.
But it's true.
Yeah,
you
right.
know? I mean,
of course.
It's just the outpouring from all across baseball. You get Kenny Lofton considering Davey a father figure, and not to mention all these Brewers, so many of them through social media. They've spoken about it. Sophia had a chance to catch up with several of them. And those guys who had the opportunity to get to know Davey. Just a smile comes to their faces thinking of the memories. There's a ground ball off the bat of Whit Merrifield. Sogard with the throw to VR. And that'll do it for the Royals here in the third. They get one hit. They leave a man. Zach Davies scoreless through the first 3 innings here. On a night where we recognize Davey Nelson. Davey Nelson here tonight, and something very near and dear to him, and it's a way you can help honor Davey. It's the Open Arms Home for Children. The organization was extremely important to Davey. You can donate by visiting openarmshome.com. openarmshome.com. That is how he would prefer. He's not having a formal service. This is how we can all recognize Davey Nelson.
Yep. And that's what he would want for sure.
Brewers lead the Royals 4-0 as we move to the fourth inning. Ian Kennedy, who took that line drive off of Braun, off of his foot, so now he gives way to Birch Smith.
Yeah, big dude. He's 6'4", 215 pounds, out of San Antonio, Texas. Appeared briefly with the Oakland Athletics. That was back in 2016. You see his numbers, 7th appearance and a .352 earned run average for Birch Smith. That's a good name.
It is. We have a couple of Rule 5 picks coming out of the bullpen, and he is one of them. His only other big league experience prior to last year came in 2013 with the San Diego Padres. He was out all of 15 and 16. He had Tommy John surgery back in April of 2015, but he has fought his way back to the big leagues. He is facing Manny Pena here in the fourth.
They say he's got a really good curveball. A cutting action on his fastball, has a curveball to go with it.
Pena, Villar, and Sogard here for Milwaukee in the fourth inning. Look at that curveball from Smith. Brewers sent 8 men to the plate in that third inning. The big blow coming from Travis Shaw, a 3-run homer off of Ian Kennedy. 1-1 pitch to Pena.
There's that cutter we were talking about, cutting action on the heater.
Ned Yost has to go to his bullpen very early tonight. This will carry out a play. The thing the Brewers were able to do against Kennedy in the 3 innings was not strike out. And that's news. Kennedy had a streak of 273 appearances with at least 1 punch out. That ends tonight as his night ends very early. And now a bullpen that ranks near the bottom of the American League is asked to try to keep the Royals within range.
And then obviously Ned Yost saw something in Kennedy's delivery that he didn't like. He got hit pretty hard after that line drive hit him in the foot.
Pena a strikeout victim, and that's how the night starts for Birch Smith here in inning number 4. Here comes Jonathan Villar. Single to right field in the 3rd inning. Shows bunts and takes a strike. Villar has his average now up to 284, on base percentage at 314. And there's going to be his second hit of the night. A single to center field. Villar 2 for 2.
Yeah, good approach again for Jonathan Villar. Pulling the hands in and hitting a line drive into center field. Hey, with warmer weather on the way, it's almost time to lose that winter coat. And on Sunday, May 6th, the first 20,000 fans at Miller Park for the Brewers and Pirates will take home a lightweight retro Brewers hoodie. Secure your seats today at brewers.com/tickets. Nice day here in Kansas City today.
Yes, it is. It was well into the 70s.
Understand the weather was nice back home.
That snowstorm, or snowstorms plural, becoming a memory now, fading away.
Right.
As is the snow. Sogard grounded to second. His first at bat of the night.
Yeah, the Royals really affected by bad weather so far this season. They've already had 2 doubleheaders, and they've got another one coming up.
Yeah, as part of a 5-game series coming up with the Chicago White Sox.
Right.
They still have a couple of games they have to make up. But they knew they were running into some bad luck when they had a game in Toronto that was postponed because of the ice that pierced part of the roof at the Rogers Center. It was just a heck of a trip. As a matter of fact, Blaine Boyer, the former Brewer, who's now a member of the bullpen for the Royals, he helped avert what might have been a really tough situation as the bus they were on, a chunk of snow and ice cracked the windshield of the bus, and Boyer helped the driver. He helped kind of stabilize things behind the wheel. Otherwise, that could have been a very ugly situation.
Yeah, no kidding. Crazy weather we've had.
Yeah, all across baseball, the Brewers have been very fortunate to this point. 2-2 pitch to Sogard. That is slapped to Lucas Duda. He'll get one. They will get two. 3-6-3 on the double play, and that will end the fourth inning here for Milwaukee. We move to the bottom of the fourth. Brewers lead the Royals 4-0.
A 4-0 lead over the Royals here in the fourth, and the Brewers Community Foundation will once again feature the 50-50 raffle at every home game. Sellers will be in bright orange polos selling $2 tickets, hoping to make your day. One winner per game will take home 50% of the day's proceeds, and the other 50% will support children and their families in the greater Milwaukee area.
All right, Sophia, thank you very much. Mike Moustakas leads off here for Kansas City, attacking the first pitch and sending one into foul territory. That'll twist out of play.
It's really blowing. The wind is blowing across from left to right. That ball, initially it looked like there was going to be a play on it, but the wind pushed it into the seats. Is that a sign of some weather coming in?
Yeah, it looks like we may have a little bit on the way here. Nothing
Not
that
tonight.
would, maybe.
Come on.
There might be something that'll pass through. It won't last long, though.
It's not the wind. I could just feel it in the elbow. The old elbow.
Yep.
That trick elbow tells me when it's going to start raining.
That's better than the radar. These kind of know.
Mm-hmm.
One strike pitch to Moustakas. Moustakas, one of those veterans who got caught in a bad spot in the free agent market this offseason. Turned down the qualifying offer at 17.4. Ended up signing a one-year deal for $6.5. Still good work if he could get it, relatively speaking, but not what he was thinking he would be settling on.
Right.
Big year for him last year, 38 homers.
Tough to complain about that kind of money, though.
No, you're probably not going to have a whole lot of people in the real world.
Hang with them. Hang with them. Good times are on the way. It's amazing how we just frivolously throw around millions.
It's like
in a discussion, not in my house, but
right.
I'm talking about discussions about salaries.
Exactly, like monopoly money, right? Stakis with a fly ball into left center field, and that'll be Christian Yelich putting it away for out number 1.
Nothing for granted in the air right now.
Nope. We saw Alex Gordon a couple innings ago struggle with a fly ball. They may have been more playable for Alcides Escobar, and really knocking it back from left field. Salvador Perez. Imagine his work behind the plate. A 4-time Gold Glove winner. He homered 27 times last year for the Royals, did Perez. Gold Glove streak for him ended at 4 last year. Martin Maldonado, the former Brewer, earning his first Gold Glove. Of course, now with the Angels.
Yep.
There's a curve that's hit well into left field. It's deep. Yelich can only watch, and the Royals are on the board. First game back for Salvador Perez, and in his second at bat, he goes deep. It's a 4-1 game.
That fastball up and in, and Perez able to get the bat on it. I think he thought it was going to hook foul, but we've already seen the effect the wind has had on fly balls already tonight. That curveball, my mistake. That was a curveball that stayed up in the zone and right down the middle of the plate. You can see Perez, he thought it was going to hook foul. That was fair by plenty. It straightened out with the wind.
That gets the Royals on the scoreboard. There's Lucas Duda. Always a home run threat every time he steps to the plate.
Yep, and Zach Davies has not made too many mistakes with that curveball in the last couple of starts.
It's been a terrific pitch for him, but Perez got a hold of one. This is a Royals team that, outside of Moustakas, does not have much in the way of power. You're getting a little bit more back. Duda singled to left field. It was the first hit of the night for the Royals. That came in the second inning. 3-0 pitch.
Zach Davies off to a pretty good start. 9 of the first 14 hitters he's faced. First pitch strikes.
Duda to left field. Yelich is right there. And that's the second out of the inning. Two away here in the fourth inning for Zach Davies. Home run he allowed, the 5th of the season, he has given up. He'll now face Jorge Soler. Soler was the first strikeout victim of the night for Zach. The 1-0 pitch. Looking for win number 2 tonight is Zach Davies. 1-2 his record.
As you mentioned, he's had good success away from Miller Park in his career. This is his 32nd road start and a .304 earned run average. You already mentioned 16-6, not too bad on the road.
He was lights out good last year. 9-2 ERA, just a touch above 2. 2.04. See those splits. He's tried to make some adjustments and starts at Miller Park.
warming up a little bit differently, timing a little different.
He has had 2 very good home starts. No decision against the Cubs, a winning decision against Cincinnati in his last outing. Full count to Soler. 2 outs and the base is empty. Royals getting their first run of the night, a Salvador Perez home run. 3-2 pitch. Soler with that long-term contract signed a few years ago. Had some injury issues in his career, leg problems, ankle, oblique. Trying to stay healthy and trying to prove he can hit consistently at this level. A curveball launched to left field, and that will be a foul ball.
Oh, that ball was smoked. A couple of curveballs that he's made mistakes with. And the Royals have launched a couple of them. That one, I guess, hooked foul. Wynn wasn't able to push that one into fair territory. Let's see, does it disappear behind the pole? Hard to tell.
Eighth pitch of the at-bat will be coming up. Again, the 3-2. Zach will need a 9th pitch. That's nothing compared to Brandon Belt, though, over the weekend. 21 pitch at bat.
Longest in history.
Since they've been keeping track of that,
yeah,
right?
at least up to the point where, pitch counts mattered.
That's right. Jesus Aguilar with that great 13 pitch at bat on Saturday night. Soler to center field, on the run, Lorenzo Cain got it just shy of the warning track, and that'll do it for the Royals in the 4th inning as Cain runs it down. They've seen that act here a lot. We're seeing it with Cain in a Brewers uniform.
Brought to you by T-Mobile, and safe to say that Mike Trout is built to hit home runs and play really good baseball. This is his 10th home run of the season. This came in the 1st inning off of Astros starter Charlie Morton. He is the fastest player in Angels history to get to 10 home runs. Did it in just his 24th game. Impressive stuff from Mike Trout, off to a great start again.
Yeah, you're right. Again, like what else is new? One of the fun guys in this game to watch, though, right?
He gets off to a good start and then never takes the foot off the gas either. I guess if you're going to build a team around somebody, that might not be a bad guy to do it.
That'd be a good place to start.
A
right?
franchise, right?
was fun watching the Angels come into Miller Park a couple of years ago. A chance to watch Mike Trout in person and those around that ball club. And he does all those little things all the time, always locked in.
Hustles around the bases.
And he can fly. A ball is strike to Kane, who has grounded out, walked and scored. Another inning of work for Birch Smith. It's one thing he's been able to do for this ball club is give Ned Yost multiple innings. They need that out of him tonight. Ian Kennedy leaving after 3, giving up the 4 runs, but he took a pretty hard shot off his right foot, off that of Ryan Braun, part of that inning for Milwaukee.
And then gave up the big home run to Travis Shaw. So obviously something was not right with him. Got to be careful when you have a pitcher like that has a leg injury.
And Lorenzo Cain draws another walk. That's the second time he has reached that way. That's how the 5th inning begins for the Brew Crew.
Just seeing the baseball really well right now is Lorenzo Cain. Laying off those tough pitches off the outside corner, those pitches that he says give him problems when he's not seeing the baseball well. Well, they're not really giving him much problem right now.
Veteran making some adjustments at the plate. Here's Christian Yelich. You know, Lorenzo Cain, a threat to run. One of the things about Cain that's impressive in this ballpark, in his time as a Royal, he stole 63 bases. He was caught just 5 times.
Right.
Holding here is Yelich down a strike.
And it goes to show you that just because you're fast does not make you a good base stealer or runner. A student of the game, he knows moves, picks his spots. And I would venture to say he can predict a pitch, an off-speed pitch, you know, one of these curveballs from Smith. If you think you might be getting one now on an 0-1 count, yeah, take off. A lot more to stealing bases than just being fast.
See if they test Smith and Salvador Perez. Smith in his last outing worked 2 2/3. That was against the Blue Jays a week ago. Cain is holding. And the count is even to Christian Yelich. Yelich tonight has flied to right and is grounded to first. Four runs, 7 hits for Milwaukee, a run on 3 for Kansas City.
Another guy with a pretty good idea at the plate. You just love watching these two guys hit. They have an idea. They have a plan of attack.
Good to see them together in the order. 2 balls, 1 strike to Yelich. And that is in the air, right field shallow as Soler puts it away. Cain's got to bust it to get back, and he does.
That ball hung up a little bit. Sounded like it was off the handle, and initially I thought it might drop in front of Soler, but didn't. Yeah, the wind's blowing pretty hard right out to right field right now. Might have held that one up a little bit, allowing Soler to get there, and Lorenzo Cain almost doubled off.
Made that kind of exciting. Close.
Yeah.
So 1 away in the 5th. Cain regroups, and here's Ryan Braun. RBI infield single off the foot of Ian Kennedy. That got the scoring started for the Brewers an inning, or rather in the third inning. Already 15 RBIs for Ryan. Couple of home runs on the last homestand.
It looked like Kane was thinking about a stolen base. He took a couple of steps towards second, decided to stay put, didn't get the jump.
Two-0 pitch coming to Braun, and that scoots him back. Travis Shaw has a 3-run homer tonight. He's next. And Braun takes a 4-pitch walk. So Birch Smith with a couple of walks in the 5th. Sets up another opportunity for Travis Shaw. As Shaw steps to the plate, we will check out the Powerball home run leaderboard. Eric Thames still leads the way. He has 7. Ryan Braun and Travis Shaw now each with 5. This was what happened in the third inning against Ian Kennedy.
And mistake. Left one down the middle up in the zone. And we talk a lot about the fact that Travis Shaw likes the ball down. Well, he likes the ball up too. Not a guy you want to make a mistake with.
If he can get to it, he can drive it.
Yeah. Get one up into the wind here. Got a big breeze going out, big wind going out the right.
And home run for Shaw. Gives him now 13 RBIs to go with the 5 bombs. 2 runners are on for him now against Birch Smith. Takes a look at a strike. Into the on-base machine that Shaw has been in this winning streak. Both Kane and Braun reaching on walks.
Man, Shaw's been walking a lot. He walked a lot on the homestand.
Now leads the team, actually. He's drawn 14. Opposing pitchers being very careful with the Brewers' cleanup hitter. 1-2 the count.
Man, this really is a good lineup. You know, the Brewers have the luxury of the designated hitter tonight. You get that extra bat in the lineup.
Shaw's followed by Santana and then Eric Thames. It's a lot of power. 1-2 pitch. Shaw into center field. John Jay drifting back. Kane will tag. And the Brewers have runners at the corners with 2 men out. Former teammates there, obviously. Kane and Mike Moustakas. Five-year, $80 million contract for Lorenzo Kane. Here's Domingo Santana. He has twice singled to right field.
What do you think that conversation was about? Just trying to get a sense for, you know, their facial expressions. Moustakas just kind of stone-faced there. And Lorenzo doing all the talking.
Right. You miss me? Eddie Cedar's old number. The 12 days of Eddie, 12 days of Christmas during spring training, right?
They're on number 6, I think.
Kind of taking their time.
Yeah.
12 months of Eddie.
Eddie's making sure he doesn't make a mistake.
Braun is running, and he'll have second base. Brewers now with runners at second and third with 2 men out. It was there, why not? Third of the year for Braun, so let's see if Santana can bring him around. He's been working the opposite field effectively here tonight. Didn't like that. 2-2. Doing what he can to put that slump behind him is Domingo Santana. Smith trying to get out of trouble. And he does so by getting Santana. That is out number 3 here in the 5th. The Brewers strand a pair. We're halfway through. Milwaukee leads 4-1. Ball on Fox Sports Wisconsin is brought to you by the Wisconsin Lottery, reminding you to please play responsibly. By Ascension, coming together to give healthcare a better name. We are Ascension. And by Pepsi, this is the Pepsi for your crew. Bottom of the 5th here on a nice night in Kansas City. Wind starting to kick up a bit, but very comfortable day, comfortable evening as Alex Gordon will lead things off against Zach Davies' Brew Crew with a 4-1 lead. Davies needing 61 pitches to get through the first 4, so in good shape right now. Faces the bottom of the Kansas City batting order. Gordon, Cuthbert, and Escobar. Gordon took a called third strike in the 2nd inning.
On a pitch just like that. Comeback two-seamer.
One of 2 strikeout victims for Davies so far. 2-1 pitch.
Well, he's got Gordon looking inside. Let's see if he goes with changeup now.
Run coming on a Salvador Perez home run. That was in the 4th inning. So carry out of play. Now holds 2 balls, 2 strikes to Gordon. Back in the lineup tonight. He's on a 10-day DL with a hip issue. And this is hit in the air, left center field, and Kane will have to play it off the wall as Alex Gordon begins the 5th with a double.
Yep, off speed pitch, and Gordon able to hit it hard into right center. First time the Royals have been able to get their leadoff hitter aboard. Changeup, 79 miles an hour, pretty good pitch. Gordon looking out there and able to spank one out there in the left center.
See, Alex Gordon, the Royals are looking for. He had some pretty good years at the plate. All-star seasons, 3 straight, 13, 14, 15, but he has struggled mightily at the plate the last 2 years. There's Chesler Cuthbert. He's the DH tonight, hitting 8th for the Royals. Five-year-old Cuthbert, be a corner infielder for him. There's a bouncer over to Eric Sogard, and that'll be the first out of the inning as Gordon moves to third.
A good base running by Gordon. Recognized that that ball is going to be behind him. He's able to get to third base.
Hey, for the first time ever, the NFL Draft is live on Fox. Join Troy Aikman and Joel Klatt in Dallas for all the big selections. It's Thursday and Friday live on Fox and NFL Network. Big sports week. Who the Packers going to take? Where are all those quarterbacks going to go? But Josh Allen, the guy from Wyoming, quarterback from Wyoming.
Yep.
Yeah, another one that slip in there pretty high. Alcides Escobar with a fly ball into left field. Room for Yelich. Second out of the inning. Gordon will tag and score easily as the Royals pull within 2. Sacrifice fly for Escobar. 4-2 game.
Yeah, that's what the Royals are known for. You know, double, get him over, get him in. Escobar able to hit one plenty deep into left field to score Gordon. And lead off double. Comes around to score.
And here's John Jay. He has loved facing Brewers pitching in his career. He has singled tonight in 2 trips. Had a hit taken away by VR in the first inning. A curve down the line, left field, long run Yelich, and it's just foul.
Oh, there is hardly any room right there in the corner and left. And right field for that matter. You got to really be careful chasing one down in foul ground out there. Hey, check it out down in the corner. That's exactly where Yelich is heading and just is foul down the line.
Yeah, you see he has to slam on the brakes.
Yeah.
You're right, that is tight.
I mean, you go in there head first or in full speed, you're in trouble.
One strike pitch. Jay, 6 years with the St. Louis Cardinals, part of their last World Series title team. And with the Padres. Moved there as part of the Jed Jerko deal last year with the Chicago Cubs. Brewers actually saw him pitch an inning in a blowout Milwaukee win at Wrigley Field not long before the All-Star break.
And just a good all-around player. I mean, a guy that does a lot of the right things right, hits the ball where it's pitched. Really not what you would classify as a good center fielder. Doesn't have a lot of range. Throwing arm kind of suspect.
Draws a walk here with 2 men out. So Jay extends his 5th inning. Well, Zach Davies will work against Whit Merrifield.
Well, some of those pitches to John Jay didn't miss by much, especially that last one.
Mound visit coming from Derek Johnson. Davies has pitched well. He's given up a Salvador Perez homer. That was in the 4th. And then Alex Gordon leading off this inning with a double and came around to score on the Escobar sacrifice fly.
That's the guy you want right here. You got big trouble coming up behind him.
He needs Merrifield with Moustakas on deck. Greg Council's been getting very good work out of his pitching staff, period, but the starters have ramped up their game. See Merrifield's night. He's homered 3 times. He's driven in 7. Back to the curveball that he drops in there for strike 1. The expression rarely, if ever, changes on the face of Zach Davies.
Yeah, looking at him, you would never know. You would never be able to predict what kind of a spot he's in. Stone-faced, stoic out there.
He's 25 years old. Oh, that Gerardo Parra trade with Baltimore. 2 strikes and nothing to Merrifield. Hit sharply, but VR is right there. And that is out number 3. That'll do it for the Royals. They pick up a run. And we are through 5. It's 4-2, Milwaukee.
Kauffman Stadium, the Brewers with a 4-2 lead over the Royals as we head to the 6th. Checking in on the Brewers minor league system in our UW Whitewater scouting report. Congratulations are in order to left fielder Ryan Aguilar, who was named Carolina Player of the Week yesterday. He hit .533, not too bad, a double, a triple, a run, 4 RBIs for him on the week, and 5 walks as well. He was drafted in 2016. And Matt and Rock, we want to give you good news as well on Lucas Ursig in AA with Biloxi. As you may have heard last night, he was hit in the helmet by a pitch, but the Brewers said he is day-to-day. They're going to give him a few days off to recover, but overall a good report on Ursig after a very scary situation last night.
Yeah, you're right. I saw the video clip of that, and you know that's frightening. But the helmet did its job. Very good to hear that he'll be okay as Eric Thames leads things off and a hard one hopper to Lucas Duda for out number 1.
Yeah, a lot of times, you know, physically, you know, a hitter is going to be okay, but sometimes it becomes difficult for them to, you know, keep that chin in there on pitches after that happens. You hope that's not going to be the case. And how about Aguilar? Those Aguilars can hit.
That's right.
We've got one of the Brewers dug out, and the one down in the minor league's not too bad either.
Bring him up, push him through.
Find some more.
That's right. Here's Manny Pena. Talk about homecomings. Remember, Pena was a Royal. In fact, his big league debut was as a Royal. handful of games in 2011 and 2012. Debut coming here against the Baltimore Orioles. His third inning of work now for Birch Smith.
All he was looking for was an opportunity to get some consistent playing time. He got that last year, and the rest is history, right?
Good history at that. Good year last year, very good year last year with the Brewers. Pena, a little pop up. Now CD's Escobar will squeeze it for out number 2.
Hey, Birch Smith doing a good job getting into some hands. That good running fastball in on right-handers. Showing a good curveball, throwing some change-ups.
Here's Jonathan VR. Let's check out his night at the plate, presented by Wendy's. Good night so far for VR. A single to right field and a single to center. Around the score on the 3-run Travis Shaw homer in inning number 3. VR hitting 8th in the lineup tonight. Trying to bunt his way on. This is Duda, a little glove flip, and it will not get there in time as VR with a bunt single, and he's now 3 for 3.
Yeah, that's a perfect bunt. Once you get it by the pitcher and you make the first baseman vacate the bag, becomes a very difficult play. And VR now 3 for 3. Good job by Jonathan to get on base. Normally you don't want to bunt with 2 outs and nobody on, particularly with the bottom of the order coming up, but the way VR can steal bases is a little different. Kind of a walking head start toward first base and really not close at the bag.
And VR 4 for 5 in the stolen base department coming into this game. 7 infield hits now for VR. No one in baseball has more. Here's Eric Sogard.
And a lot of those with 2 strikes. Shortening up, just trying to put the bat on the baseball. With his good speed, he's able to beat it at first base.
Looking for that Jonathan VR of 2016. First onto the scene as a Brewer. Sogard tonight is grounded to second, and he grounded into a double play that ended the 4th inning. All 4 runs coming in the 3rd for Milwaukee. Sogard shoots one out of play. 2 strikes and nothing. Birch Smith turning in some good work for a Royals bullpen that is dead last in the American League. An earned run average that's pushing 8.
Yeah.
Kennedy leaving after 3 innings. Royals getting some activity in their bullpen.
Yeah, this has got to be it for him, right? Three solid innings. If he's able to get through this, the Brewers are hoping that this inning extends a little bit. Maybe get into that bullpen this inning.
The 4th straight appearance where Smith has given Ned Yost multiple innings. One-two pitch to Sogard. And another chance for Lucas Duda. And that'll do it for the Brewers in the 6th. So we move to the bottom of the 6th here in Kansas City. It's 4-2. Brewers lead the Royals. Talladega for the Geico 500. Get ready for all the fast-paced, heart-thumping action from the Super Speedway starting at 12:30 Central on Fox, or stream it live on Fox Sports Go. Bottom of the 6th at Kauffman Stadium. Zach Davies with a 2-run lead facing Mike Moustakas. Davies giving up runs in each of the last 2 innings. Mentioned Moustakas, comeback player of the year last year in the American League. 2 years ago, his season ended. An outfield collision with Alex Gordon. That was the 3rd week of May. Came back last year and homered 38 times and drove in 85. All-Star season for him last year. Also was an All-Star in 2015. 2-1 pitch. Bounces a curve.
All of a sudden, Zach Davies' last couple of innings has been falling behind in the count. I mean, first pitch strikes, he was really solid in that department the first 3 innings. Since then, he's starting to fall behind early.
Brewers getting some activity in their bullpen. 3-1 to Moustakas. Dan Jennings getting loose. Boy, he too has been good.
They've all been good out there. Every one of them.
Tough start for the Royals. Moustakas has been a bright spot. 14 games his hitting streak. And he draws a walk here in the 6th inning. See how long they ride this with Davies. Royals starting to get to him a little bit.
Could be his last hitter. You got a left-hander on deck, Lucas Duda. We'll see what Craig Counsell decides to do.
Salvador Perez got a hold of a curveball and hit it out of the ballpark his last at bat. First game back this season for Salvador Perez. Playing with some fire here as he again falls behind. 2-0 to Perez. We got Jennings getting loose. Here comes the 2-0.
Yeah, he wanted that one, didn't he? He went down on a knee. That was a good location for Davies, down and away. 89 the fastball.
Leadoff walk from Moustakas. The 2-1. Hit sharply. Shaw. There's VR for 1 and the turn, and that's an easy double play. Around the horn they go. 2 outs in the 6th.
Boy, what a turnaround that is, right? 3-0. 3-0, and Davies is looking first 2 men on base with nobody out. He's probably done for the night, but a 3-1 pitch. Literally outer half, and that's a nice scoop by Shaw to turn the double play. Zach Davies able to keep himself in the game.
We will face Lucas Duda trying to finish off this 6th inning. Duda has singled to left. He has hit a fly ball to left. But wind really kicking out toward right field now.
It is, isn't it?
The 0-1. He started to kick up that 3 innings or so ago.
cooling off considerably.
And it's going to be a chilly one tomorrow night, we're told. 1-1 pitch. Both of these teams are used to it. The Royals have dealt with it more. Mentioned they still have 2 games to make up the postponements they have dealt with this season. Davies again behind. 3 balls, 1 strike. Get through this inning, let the bullpen do its thing. 3-1 on the way.
Duda might have chased ball 4.
.30 homer year for Duda last year between the Mets and the Tampa Bay Rays. Here comes the payoff pitch. He just did get a piece.
Change up that time. Hadn't thrown too many of those tonight.
Yeah, big pitch for him. Hasn't relied much on it in the last couple of outings, right?
Right. That curveball's been a little inconsistent since the wind's picked up.
Big shift is on for Duda. Again, the 3-2. And Duda is on second walk given up by Davies here in the 6th inning.
First 2 walks of the night issued by Davies. Great Counsel wants to make sure that Jennings is ready. He's got to be ready by now. You got Alex Gordon on deck, the lefty.
First it'll be righty versus righty as Davies. Pitch count approaching 100. He'll face Jorge Soler, who just missed a home run his last at bat. He's pulled it foul before flying out to center field. He's homered once on the year, has driven in a couple. Last season with the Cubs, their championship year, he homered 12 times in 86 games.
You can get this guy with fastballs up in the zone, but I doubt it's 89 mile-an-hour fastballs. You got to have decent velocity. Second trip to the mound for the Brewers.
Another one of those big spots in the game here in the 6th inning. Tying run is at the plate. Get that look watching Counsell. He's starting to grind a little bit in there.
Yeah, you got to figure if Jorge Soler reaches, that's got to be it for Davies.
Matt Albers joining Dan Jennings in the Milwaukee bullpen. Hot smash. Shaw the stop. And that will do it for the Royals in inning number 6. Couple of walks, but no damage done. We're through 6. It's 4-2 Brewers over Kansas City. Brewers lead the Royals 4-2. We welcome those of you who were watching the Bucks-Celtics playoff game on Fox Sports Wisconsin. Here's what you've missed if you're just checking us out. Travis Shaw with the big blow of the game so far. A 3-run shot off of Ian Kennedy. Salvador Perez getting a hold of a Zach Davies curveball. First game back for Perez. His second at bat. He gets his first home run of this season. Davies able to grind through the last inning. Alex Gordon there taking a called third strike. Royals had a threat, did not score. Lorenzo Cain going after the first pitch, sending it to deep right center field, and it's out of here as Lorenzo Cain comes back to Kansas City and sends one over the wall in right center field.
Now that has to feel good for Lorenzo. They got one up into the breeze out there in right field and knocked one out of here. There you go. You tell me he's not excited to be back in Kansas City.
Yes, sir. He'll get the gauntlet.
Anytime you leave a team that was on his own accord, well, you come back and do that, that's got to feel good.
Pitching change in Kansas City. Brewers now with a 3-run lead. Back in Kansas City as a member of the Milwaukee Brewers, coming off the acquisition in late January. Let's check out our Badger Mutual Insurance play of the game. This is how he greeted Birch Smith.
You like that back leg swing. They would have knocked that one out of here to right field. And yeah, Lorenzo Cain, give me some. Yep.
A 5-2 lead as Christian Yelich settles in, facing Tim Hill.
Yeah, 6'2", 200 pounds. He was a 32nd round choice by the Royals back in 2014, a side-arming left-hander. 9th game, pretty good numbers for him.
It's a ton of ground balls, which is no surprise when you see his delivery. Very effective against left-handed hitters.
Well, he's had 8 appearances, only 6 2/3 innings, so the Royals very careful who he faces.
0-2 the count to Christian Yelich. And there's a high chopper. Alcides Escobar has to wait for it. There's nothing he can do. Throws it away, but it stays in play, and it'll be a base hit infield single for Yelich.
Just making contact and no chance. You know, Yelich, a left-handed batter, he gets a bit of a head start. And you see bounces right off of home plate. No chance for Escobar. Not even with his arm. Take the hits any way you can get them.
And the Brewers have 10 of them now. First of the night for Yelich. Here's Ryan Braun. RBI infield single in the 3rd inning. First run of the night for Milwaukee. He hit a hard shot off the right foot of tonight's starter for Kansas City, Ian Kennedy. Kennedy finished the inning, but that was it. His night was over after just 3. The update on him now, a right foot contusion for Kennedy. X-rays were negative. Day to day.
A bruise.
A bruise.
Doesn't sound as bad if you say bruise.
Contusion sounds more official.
Yeah,
right?
well,
Very medical.
Sounds a lot worse.
Sounds like he'll be all right.
Yeah.
0-1 to Braun. Bill, a pretty good story in his own right. 28 years old. He's diagnosed with colon cancer in early 2015. After 8 months of chemotherapy, his weight dropped to 150 pounds. Following spring training, though, he put almost all of that weight back. Made the 40-man roster last year. Playing A and AA ball. Braun goes opposite field. There's a base hit. And the Brewers have runners at first and second. First 3 have reached. Home run, infield single, and a single to right for Braun.
Yeah, second hit for Ryan. He's been on 3 times, and that's just a beautiful piece of hitting, taking that pitch away. He's kind of sticking the bat out there, and a line drive to right, actually off the plate, 91 miles an hour from Hill. Well, he's as good as it gets at getting on top of that pitch on the outside part of the plate and lining it into right field. Not many better at doing that.
We'll see what he's doing. Spraying the ball all over the ballpark again. Here's Travis Shaw showing bunt, lays one down. Charging is Moustakas. And the throw over to first for out number 1. So Shaw, the cleanup hitter, with a sac bunt. Yelich to third, Braun to second.
Yeah, such a tough at bat for a lefty against a guy that throws like this. And Shaw's thinking, you know what, I'm going to advance a base runner. I'm sure they're going to give him a sacrifice. And they do. So good heads up play by Travis Shaw. He did that on his own.
We've talked to Craig Counsell, like many managers, maybe most managers now, they really don't like to bunt with position players.
Especially your cleanup hitter.
Yes, very much so. But period. I mean,
right.
They just don't.
Right.
Here's Domingo Santana, infield in.
Yep, the advanced metrics, right?
Don't give up and out.
Don't give up and out. Swing away and maybe somebody knock one out of the ballpark. It's kind of the way it is. Don't give up outs anywhere.
Santana tonight, a couple of singles to rights, facing Tim Hill. This year made his first ever opening day roster. It's 2 strikes and nothing to Santana. Field single for Yelich, single to right for Braun. Birch Smith pitched well, 3+, gave up nothing until the Kane homer to lead off this inning. A 1-2 to Santana. And a swing and a miss. 2 men out. Still 2 runners in scoring position for Eric Thames. Thames with a second inning single tonight. Sitting on 7 home runs is Thames.
Here's where Thames needs to be thinking about left field. Just try to put the bat on the baseball. Tough at bat for a lefty.
The 0-1.
I think the opposite field react inside.
Run across here in the inning for Milwaukee. Just to pop it open a little bit here if Thames can deliver, but down to the count 0-2. Driven in 13. Here comes the 1-2. And this is popped up. Escobar will call for it. And that'll do it for the Brewers here in the 7th. They pick up another run as Lorenzo Cain. A little homecoming for him in Kansas City, and he goes opposite field to begin this 7th inning. Stretch time at Kauffman Stadium. It's 5-2 Brewers leading the Royals. Places.
Well, 5-2 Brewers as we head to the bottom of the 7th inning. And today's timer of the game winner, the Village Supper Club in Delavan. If they call the Brewers by 10 o'clock tomorrow morning, they get 40 tickets to a Friday night game in the Miller Lite Beer Pen. This offer courtesy of the Tavern League of Wisconsin and Miller Lite.
Good Brewers fans here in Kansas City. Always traveling well. 5-2 Milwaukee is new pitcher now. We'll get you caught up as Alex Gordon leads things off. Matt Albers now on the mound for the Brew Crew.
Hey, we saw him on Sunday against the Marlins. Tossed a 3-up, 3-down inning. That included a couple of strikeouts. He's been unscored upon in 8 of 10 appearances so far this year.
Gordon, Cuthbert, and Escobar here for Kansas City. Gordon doubled and scored in the 5th inning. His first game back after being on the DL with hip injury. Zach Davies, if the bullpen can continue to do its thing, in line to get his 2nd win.
Kind of a struggle for Davies the final 3 innings. I mean, first 3 very clean. Then all of a sudden the wind kicked up a little bit, and it might very well have affected the grip on his curveball. The changeup a little inconsistent, but he got through it with a fastball tonight.
Did. Got through that 6th inning with a couple of walks. Got a big double play grounder. Gordon pops this one up. A little ground to cover for Travis Shaw. He'll do so easily for out number 1.
Albers with that 2-seam fastball going away from lefties. Slider to go with it. A strike thrower is Matt Albers.
One away here in the 7th inning for the Royals. Chesler, Cuthbert, a couple of ground balls, one to VR, one to Sogard. And that is hit hard in the left field, and laying back on it is Christian Yelich. Base hit for Cuthbert, one out and one on.
Man, that ball was smoked.
Hit number 5 for Kansas City.
Cuthbert, the DH. I'm not sure how many designated hitters in the American League bat 8th.
I think it's a pretty short list.
Yeah, it's more or less, you know, middle of the order, maybe top of the order, right?
Right. Here is Alcides Escobar. Sacrifice fly in the 5th inning. Going after the first pitch and sending one to Lorenzo Cain. And that wind whipping around. Cain stays with it for out number 2. Home run in the top of this inning from Cain. Back to John Jay, and he's been doing tonight what he has done against the Brewers, and that's get on base. And a second hit taken away. Terrific play by Jonathan VR. Since then, a single to center in the 5th inning walk. Jay with a .302 career average against the Brewers, and that covers 108 games all those years in St. Louis.
Is that all?
Seems like it's more, right?
Seems like it should be more like 400. Man.
Some timely hits in there. The 0-1.
A nice pitch, a little curve ball.
Brewers bullpen really in shutdown mode. Came in 21 2/3 innings consecutive, giving up nothing. And a strikeout of John Jay, and that will do it for Kansas City in the 7th inning. A harmless single allowed by Albers. 5-2 Brewers as we move to the 8th.
people. He was big on relationships. And I think for a guy like that is going to be, truly missed our organization and as the baseball world as a whole. Davey was just a guy that really loved and cared for people, and that's what truly matters in this life. And he's going to be remembered for that.
Well, very well said by Chase Anderson. And Davey was a Kansas City Royal, and they honored him with a moment of silence before the first pitch tonight. As we mentioned at the beginning, the first at bat here, and it was then known as Royals Stadium, but in this ballpark, the first at bat ever was by Davey Nelson. Manny Pena leading off here for the Brewers in the 8th inning. And a former Brewer now on the mound as Blaine Boyer is in the game.
Yeah, a bit of a rough start. Big earned run average, 8th appearance. He's given up 4 home runs already this year out of that Kansas City bullpen.
He has given up runs in each of his last 4 outings and in 6 of his 7 appearances. Been a brutally tough start to the season for Boyer. Pena with a bouncer to Moustakas. And a high throw, but Duda applies the tag for out number 1. First game back for Pena. And here's Jonathan Villar.
It might take him a while to get the timing back in that swing. He can't take as much time as he has, short of 2 weeks, and expect to come out swinging like a Perez did with the home run tonight.
Right.
I keep wanting to call him Perez, like Hernan.
Yep.
It's Salvador Perez.
Here's Jonathan Villar, a 3-hit night for Villar. All singles, 1 to right, 1 to center, and a bunt single in the 6th inning. Against the well-traveled Blaine Boyer. Brewer a couple of years ago was Blaine.
Did pretty good. Had a good season. Together some good numbers.
He had 61 appearances for the Brew Crew.
Year before that with Minnesota, really good.
5th team in as many years for Boyer. A swing and a miss by Villar. We mentioned he played an important role. We're just checking us out here tonight. A big chunk of snow and ice cracked the windshield of a bus. The driver was shaken up. Boyer got a hold of the steering wheel, helped stabilize things. Just that kind of a season where they couldn't even get in a game at the Rogers Center. A chunk of ice sliced up a part of the roof. Boyer did his part in a bad situation with a bus becoming really bad.
Yeah, it could have been a lot worse, right?
Roller up the line. That is a fair ball, they say, and Duda applies the tag. I thought it rolled on the other side, but they say no.
Well, the home plate umpire, that's his call. Anything in front of first base is the home plate umpire's call. Beyond the bag, normally it's going to be the first base umpire. To confer with Jim Reynolds, the first base ump. Now Duda goes after it. He knows he has an out if he can keep it fair. Any part of the ball and any part of the line, and it's going to be a fair ball.
And Villar thought otherwise, but that is not the case. So it's 3 unassisted for out number 2.
Not reviewable.
Right. So 2 outs, bases empty in the top of the 8th inning. First time the Royals have retired Villar. Here's Eric Sogard looking for his first hit. Brewers have 11 hits in this game. They've stranded 7. 0-1 pitch. The breaking ball squibbed down the line and foul. Still can't catch a break.
No. Well, the dew bucket is overflowing for Eric Sogard. He's due to get a break.
What do you give for a little flare to drop right now? Two strikes and nothing as Boyer trying to get through this 8th inning in order. Red Yost getting some pretty good work out of his bullpen tonight. And he needed that bullpen early. There's a ground ball to Merrifield. And it's a 1-2-3 inning for Blaine Boyer. Brewers go down quietly. We move to the bottom of the 8th inning. It's 5-2 Milwaukee. Bottom of the 8th we go here in Kansas City on Bark at the Park night at the ballpark. Here's what's on tap, presented by Miller Lite. Yalish Chassin gets the call tomorrow for the Brewers. Jason Hamill. That's some big numbers against Milwaukee. He's on the mound for the Royals. Our coverage begins at 6:30 with Brewers Live on Fox Sports Wisconsin.
Yeah, Brewers faced him a lot as a member of the Cubs.
Very good record against the Brewers. Second inning of work for Matt Albers. Gave up a harmless single in the 7th inning. And yes, it is Bark at the Park night.
Haven't heard any barking.
No, it's been pretty quiet.
Maybe the wind.
Could be.
I don't even see any dogs. There's one.
There's two.
A couple. I'm sorry.
Look at that. Looks looking content. They list the attendance here tonight at 16,555 people, 441 dogs. A ball, a strike to Whit Merrifield. Trying to bunt his way on. A ball, 2 strikes. .5-15 start for Kansas City. Brewers trying to take advantage of the struggles. Milwaukee comes to town having won 6 straight.
And it's in the hands of perhaps their strongest area, the bullpen.
Albers one of 5 out of the Milwaukee bullpen with an ERA of under 2. 1-2 pitch to Merrifield, breaking ball missing.
And every one of the Brewers relievers, you and I, Matty, were talking about this between innings. Every one of the guys in the bullpen can give you multiple innings. That's a nice luxury for Craig Counsell.
Big time. carries 7, at least for now. 2-2 pitch. That is hit in the air to center field. Lorenzo Cain will call for it. And that is out number 1.
Hey, take over the reins of the Brewers franchise and begin your run toward the playoffs with the all-new franchise mode in RBI Baseball 18. Rated E for everyone, RBI Baseball puts you in control of all the action. Learn more at rbigame.com.
Matt Albers works an inning and a third, keeps that scoreless streak going for the Brewers bullpen. And Jennings was getting loose, breaking the action at Kauffman Stadium in the 8th inning. 1 out, bases empty, 5-2 Milwaukee. Inning, Matt Albers retires Whit Merrifield to begin this inning, and now Craig Counsell making a move to one of the 2 left-handers he has in the bullpen, Dan Jennings.
Yeah, Jennings has not pitched since Friday, and that was against the Marlins at Miller Park. A scoreless inning that included a strikeout. Another guy in that Brewers pen that has had very good success so far. 169 the earned run average, and a very good opponent batting average. He's got Moustakas, the lefty, first up.
Moustakas with a 14-game hitting streak and holding. He is 0 for 2 with a walk tonight. Albers goes an inning and a third. In a lefty-lefty matchup now. There's that big old shift with Jonathan Villar well onto the grass in right field. And a diving stop by Thames. Nice play to the covering Dan Jennings. Wow, the Brewers pulling off some impressive work in the infield here tonight.
Now, they were working on that, at Miller Park. They didn't have batting practice. They were working on that play right there. First baseman get a ground ball, the pitcher covering, and look at this. Thames throws a strike to Jennings, who's there in plenty of time. And let's see, does he roll over on the glove a little bit? Maybe he was checking his wrist. Perfectly executed. The 3-1 put out.
Yeah, you're right, Rock. It seems like he was feeling that a little bit, but he will play on. And the hitless night continues for Mike Moustakas. 2 outs for Salvador Perez. He has homered tonight in his first game of this season for Kansas City.
And Jennings has done a really good job for Craig Counsell. Boone Logan is on the road to recovery through a simulated game today.
Yes, he did. Another lefty option. Boone Logan getting injured last full week of the Cactus League. Wade Miley as well, same game as a matter of fact. The ball to strike to the Royals catcher. Facing Dan Jennings, another one of those Brewers relievers with an ERA of under 2. Matt Albers has already been out there tonight. Here's the 1-1. In this scoreless stretch that the Brewers bullpen has had recent games, they've allowed just 6 hits and racked up now 29 strikeouts. Here comes the 1-2. Jack Davies went the first 6, gave up both runs on 4 hits.
You're talking about the 6 hits. They've only walked 4 in that stretch, striking out 28. I mean, that's pretty good work. Now, you're going to give up hits, but you know, one thing a bullpen can do to really help themselves is to throw strikes, not walk guys, and that's just a recipe for disaster. You come into a game and start walking batters.
The 2-2. Perez offered. The pitch goes to the backstop, but Pena has plenty of time. And add another strikeout to the list here for this Brewers bullpen. Dan Jennings gets the job done. We move to the 9th. 5-2 Milwaukee.
The first of a 2-game set between the Brewers and the Royals. It's a 5-2 lead for Milwaukee as we head to the 9th. Coming up after the game on Brewers Live, brought to you by Freighter and the Medical College of Wisconsin. I think Lo Cain feels back at home here in Kansas City. He's got a home run on the night, on base 2 times with a walk as well. We'll continue to remember and honor our good friend Davey Nelson, who passed away Sunday evening. And we'll also hear from the manager, Craig Counsell, in the clubhouse. That's coming up with Dario Melendez and Jerry Augustine on Brewers Live after the game.
All right, Sophia, thank you very much. And we've been remembering Davey Nelson throughout the course of this game. We will remember him forever. Passing away Sunday night. There's Lorenzo Cain leading off, going after the first pitch. And Duda will feed Boyer. Did he get there? No, he did not. Cain is on to start the 9th inning.
That's what you call a hustle down the line. Right there, rewarded. I think he's going to get a base hit. Let's see, the Royals might want to take a look at that. Pretty close as to whether Boyer had his foot on the bag when he had the baseball. Look at Cain hustle down the line, sniff at a base hit. Pretty good effort. He got the heel on the back of the base, but maybe Cain beat it anyway.
Lorenzo Cain has reached 4 times tonight. Couple of walks. Solo homer in the 7th, and now an infield single in the 9th. There's Christian Yelich. Infield single his last at bat. And that pops away from Perez, but Kane will stay put.
Brewers had a number of infield hits tonight. Kane's got one. Yelich has one.
Braun.
Yeah, Ryan got one off the pitcher. And VR's got one.
Yeah, bunt single from VR in the 6th inning. Part of a 3-hit night for VR. 1-0 the count to Christian Yelich. And a chance for two. Merrifield, Escobar, Duda. That's a double play. 4-6-3. 2 men out here in the ninth. We want to mention this one more time here tonight. Best way to honor Davey is, if you can, contribute to the Open Arms Home for Children organization. That was very important to Davey. Many, many years on the board of directors. You can donate by visiting openarmshome.com. Many, many fans out there of Davey Nelson, and this is the way you can honor him if you can.
Yeah, one of the many ways that he helped others. Yep.
Here is Ryan Braun. 2 outs, bases empty. Braun a couple of hits tonight, and he's walked. Hit evening for Milwaukee. Second inning of work for Blaine Boyer. Cycle of the interleague games as the Brewers playing Kansas City. The Royals have beaten Milwaukee the last 8 times they've met, so Brewers trying to snap that string and extend the current run, trying to make it 7 wins in a row here. Former Brewer Blaine Boyer. Good work out of Birch Smith tonight. Tim Hill an inning.
For a bullpen that really, when the Brewers came in, had their share of problems. I mean, big time problem. They look pretty good tonight.
Yeah, they have. Braun drawing a 2-out walk. Well, here's the man with the big shot of the night. 3-run homer for Travis Shaw. That was back in the 3rd inning off Ian Kennedy. That was right after Kennedy took that hot shot off of Braun in the right foot. I wonder if it had an effect. Bruised foot, x-rays were negative. It was just a 3-inning night for the Royals starter. Sacrifice bunts the last time up for Shaw. An uncommon occurrence for a cleanup hitter.
But a pretty smart thing to do. I mean, he was facing a guy that's side-arming lefty, and if you don't feel comfortable up there against a guy like that, why not just drop down a bunt, help the team? You like to see that kind of stuff.
Yeah, moved runners to 2nd and 3rd. Brewers were unable to push him across, but Shaw did his part to set things up.
Check the ego at the door, right? And when you're thinking about what's best for the team, and that's smart baseball.
A ball, 2 strikes to Shaw. With Braun the runner at first. Now the 1-2. Braun's running. The throw from Perez is in time, and Braun is cut down trying to steal. And that'll do it for Milwaukee in the top half of the ninth. Jeremy Jeffress getting ready. It's 5-2 Brewers. of the ninth here in Kansas City. And Jesus Aguilar now in the game. He will handle things over at first. Well, just in case, Jeremy Jeffress continuing to get ready, but in the meantime, Dan Jennings will start this ninth inning.
Well, two of the first three hitters are left-handed against Jennings tonight here in this inning. We'll see if he can get through it.
Maybe it's his turn for a 6-out save. A strike to Duda. If you're wondering, Jennings has one save in his big league career. That was 2 years ago with the White Sox. A terrific year for him in Chicago. Pitched to a 208 earned run average. And Duda's behind. No balls, 2 strikes.
And the one thing about Craig Counsell, he's had Jeffress up for a while, so I imagine if he's got him up this long, he's going to bring him in.
Ed Yost balancing that lineup as best he can. Left, right, left, right. Duda tonight has singled to left, hit a fly to left, walked in the 6th inning. The 1-2. Brewers bullpen turning in 2 scoreless innings so far tonight. Streak at 23 2/3 without allowing a run. Two-two pitch on the way. Can also add the starters here in this recent stretch over the last 9 games. This was before tonight. 5-1 with a 2.40 ERA. The starters have raised their level. Davies goes 6 tonight. He's in line for the win.
Yeah, pitching and defense, that's what wins for you consistently.
Jennings again with a 2-2. And there's a ground ball. It's Travis Shaw over there on the shift, and that is out number 1. Third baseman playing in the shortstop area. He's there to put that away, and the Brewers are 2 outs away. And we will have a pitching change. See, we told you Jeffress was getting ready. Ready to come in as Jorge Soler will be next up, and Jeffress will face him. 1 out, bases empty in the 9th. 5-2 Milwaukee. We continue to honor Davey Nelson, who passed away on Sunday night. We're hearing from people all across baseball, and this is a tweet worth showing. Jeremy Jeffress talked about how Davey was one of his biggest supporters. Very heartfelt message from Jeremy Jeffress on the passing of our great friend Davey Nelson. And Jeffress now on the mound for the Brew Crew with 1 out here in the 9th inning. With the Brewers leading 5-2. Jeffress will be facing Jorge Soler.
Well, again, I mean, Jeremy had been warming up for a while. He was warming up last inning and beginning of this inning, so you get him up that much and get him ready. You better bring him in. 14th appearance for JJ. Look at the earned run average. Incredible stuff out of Jeremy Jeffress.
Just electric. His work on Sunday. Was he too a former Royal? He was part of that Zach Greinke trade in the offseason after 2010. Alonzo Kane, Alcides Escobar, all involved. 1-1 to Soler. This with a curve. But yeah, you go to, this is one of the reasons why save stats, they're fun. But what Jeffress did in the 6th inning on Sunday, inheriting a bases loaded, nobody out situation and getting out of it without the Marlins scoring a run. 2 strikeouts, a pop-up. It was a huge, huge moment in the game. Lands the curve there to even the count.
And Craig Counsell gets more and more confidence in Jeremy Jeffress every time he goes out there. That's a terrific curveball on a 2-1 count. 3 pitches he'll throw anytime. Probably split change time here. Nope.
Soler spins himself to the dirt there on that 96-mile-an-hour offering from Jeffress. Again, proving what has been talked about with this staff. These guys are ready to pitch at any time. Jeffress here in the 9th inning after the 6th inning on Sunday.
Yeah, you just never know. None of these guys know when they're going to come in. And that's the amazing thing about their success. No defined roles. Just be ready at any time.
Continues to thrive in a Brewers uniform does Jeremy Jeffress. Full count to Soler with Alex Gordon on deck. Here comes the payoff.
Throw it again, split. On a 3-2 pitch. Bottom of the 9th inning.
Royals with just 5 hits, just 1 against the Brewers bullpen. Davies went the first 6. Matt Albers an inning and a third. Dan Jennings an inning and a third. Payoff pitch again. And he held up, ball 4. Soler is on, 1 out, 1 on for the Royals here in the 9th.
Yeah, but no, you don't want to be walking guys. We've been talking about that all night. How good the Brewers bullpen has been coming in and throwing strikes.
Oh, here's Alex Gordon. He has doubled in 3 trips.
They've been working Gordon inside all night. They're able to get that fastball on the outside corner.
Gordon trying to get that average back above 200. Been a struggle for him in recent years. 1 strike pitch. Correct myself, it was 1 inning of work for Jennings. Albers an inning and a third. Jeffress trying to finish this one up. Brewers bullpen is quiet. Soler the runner at first. Here comes the 1-1. Rugged start for this Royals team, having lost 15 of its first 20 games. And their run differential is one of the worst they've had in their franchise history coming into this matchup, a -44. They're down 3 now. Jeffress trying to finish him off. The 1-2.
You don't want to go 3-2 now. Bring that tying run to the plate. This is where Jeffress wants to get a decision.
Chesler Cuthbert is on deck. The 2-2. Bouncing ball, and it hits Soler, and that'll be out number 2.
And that'll be a base hit for Alex Gordon, and out on interference for Soler. So credit Jonathan Villar with a putout. Ned Yost saying to himself, what next?
That kind of start to his team's season.
Yeah, he tried to jump over it, but had nothing doing. Oh, was that Sogard closest to it? I think it was on the shift.
Hey, you might be right. So give Sogard the credit there.
6 unassisted,
Yep.
base hit for Gordon.
And here's Cuthbert with 2 outs in the 9th inning. Curve misses from Jeffress. Cuthbert singled in the 7th inning. He's grounded out twice. Here's the 1-0. Cuthbert the DH. Gordon the runner at first. The 1-1.
And the DH hitting 8th is more common than I thought it was. 17 times this year in the American League.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Wow.
Actually, Ohtani's done it 6 times. Okay. I take it all back.
So as we were saying, the common occurrence of a DH hitting 8th. We learned something tonight.
Yeah. It's our buddy Rick Ramirez in Oshkosh with that bit of information.
Good knowledge there, Rick. Not what you would think, though.
No, right?
2 balls, 2 strikes. Here it comes. Trying to nail down win number 15 of this season for Milwaukee. A week ago, they fought their way back to 500 after dropping below it with a loss to open that homestand against Cincinnati. Again, the 2-2. This is hit in the air, right field toward the line. Santana is there, and the Brewers now have a 7-game winning streak. More lockdown pitching from the Brewers bullpen and some defensive plays that you circle in the scorebook. Big 3-run bomb from Shaw and a good homecoming for Lorenzo Cain.
Yeah, I mean, the offense just enough, but how about the pitching? Pitching outstanding. The starters are starting to really come through with some consistency, and that bullpen streak continues.
As they continue to lock down the opposition. Now 24 2/3 innings.